baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here,
Black versus the Board of Education.
'cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go, 'cause we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Bam, 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 bam.
That was really soft. I don't know. I mean,
I'm
I think
sorry.
you were waiting for permission.
I was. Okay, start over. Sorry. Bam, bam, bam. Wow, no.
No,
Just
no,
good night.
just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Sorry.
Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I am the hostess with the mostest, and also the captain of the ship. And as usual, I like for y'all to know who's in the building before we get any discussion popping. And so it is what day is it? 21st?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's the 21st. I'm feeling real royal. I just came from the Kings Arena. You see, I told them I was with the home team. They appreciated that. The NBA execs, shout out to them. They flew in from New York. And we were talking about all the work that BYLP is doing in the community. And so just to Miss Lauren Sills and Miss Janisha, thank you for your time and for making me feel part of the royal family, because it's not too many folks out there that ain't afraid to say they black. And they are looking for organizations who are specifically serving black kids. So shout out to them. Shout out to Maritza Davis, who is over social responsibility, and her team for hosting us for the luncheon. And, we're doing big things out here, and we're going to continue in that vein. So today we are talking blessed bias. And I know you're probably looking at that title and you're like, what is that all about? It's, these school systems, I always talk about these hostile education environments, and I don't want anybody to ever get it twisted. Church folks cut up too. We go get all into it. We're talking about Bradshaw Christian and their what is the right word? See, I was about to say something that I shouldn't have said. That's why I had to stop myself. Their incompetence in making sure they're doing right by our students. So let me get the panel introduced, and then we'll bring the parents on and we'll get into our discussion. So as usual, Melissa, I'm going to start with you because you're our virtual baby. And go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know where you're checking in from, and we'll go to someone else.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I'm a freshman at UC Berkeley, and I'm doing okay today.
She's doing okay, and she's my longest riding co-pilot. She started this podcast with me, so welcome back, baby. I always love to see you. And Mama's already in the comments cutting up. Religious folks sure do cut up. You right, Mama? They sure do. And so we're gonna come right in here to the studio. Miss Keela, hey girl.
Hey, it's your girl Keela. I'm excited because I'm making a new recipe today. So
You making a recipe? You trying to cook?
yeah,
What you cooking?
stuffed Alfredo shells,
Ooh, what you stuffing them with?
chicken spinach.
Oh snap! Okay, all right. Maybe we'll do a cook-off one day.
Oh, don't play. Come on.
Maybe we can do a cook-off. I like to burn a little bit,
Okay,
a little
okay.
bit in
I'm
the
down.
kitchen. Okay, don't tell my mama though, because my mama thinks she could burn too. Hey, Miss Mariah.
Hey y'all, it's Mariah. I'm feeling excited for this conversation. I said that last week, but I'm more excited this week
Why?
because this is a good conversation.
That's
wanna
because
give
you
too
was at
much
the school with me.
And that too. Yeah.
It's all good. We can't wait to do it.
I'm sorry. I just
yes.
want to interrupt. Y'all you said you were at the school together.
This guy said he want to interrupt.
I got something to say.
Wait, hold on. He forgot who show this was. Wait a minute.
My
No,
bad.
you can. Yeah. We were at Bradshaw Christian
Okay, y'all weren't
together
there.
with the family and Miss Lisa.
Yeah, I just want to be informed a little bit.
Oh, you just ride along.
Okay.
We're gonna take it. And since you wanted to interrupt me, go ahead and introduce
Okay.
yourself.
My name is Xavier. It's my first time on the podcast, so
And his first day meeting me.
right.
He is one of the newest members of Team BYLP, and we're happy to have you. Adrian, what's up?
What's up? My name's Adrian. Long
Big A.
Monday.
A long Monday.
Long Monday.
Yeah. About how many kids did you see today? Just give me a number, ballpark.
20?
Excuse me? There's 33 in the earlier school.
Long Monday. I said, I don't know.
Mhm.
All right. And ending it off on a bright note, Mr. Fox, what's up?
How you guys doing today?
Get
Good.
your mouth in that microphone.
Thought I talk loud enough.
You don't.
Okay, well, how you guys doing today?
How are you feeling today?
I feel like Adrian, it's been a long Monday, but I'm still ready to go.
Still ready to go. Well, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do without parents and without their students. And this particular story caught my attention, not just because of the age of, and I'm gonna call her a victim because that's what she was, but it's because there is this thing that they do, and I'm talking about school systems. There's this thing that they do when certain students behave badly. They like to protect them, and they don't always want to hold them accountable. And so I always like to come into spaces where that has been done and meet parents who are trying to get some semblance of justice for their young people. So at this point, I want to bring in the parents. I want you to meet them. And we'll get started with the conversation. So we'd like to welcome both Mr. Ray and Mrs. Simone Ridley to BVBOE.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for having us.
It's our pleasure. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about you and your family, and then tell us about your beautiful baby girl and how you became aware that this was a thing.
You want to go?
Oh, you go ahead.
Well, somebody go.
All right, I'm the talker, so I was going to give him the chance to speak. But so we are a family of 4 living here in Sacramento. We're a military family, which means we move around a lot. So we came here in 2023 from Orange County, and we got recommendations. We're looking for schools. We got recommendations to go to Bradshaw. So our daughter is 8. She's in the 3rd grade. And then our son is in kindergarten. He's 5. And then what was your other question?
Well, I mean, I just want to put a pin in that real quick, because when you said you got recommendations, who recommended that school to you? Because y'all didn't come see us. You probably didn't know we was here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to have commercials and have
We
everything.
have commercials.
We did not know y'all existed.
Write that down.
Yes, you need to be everywhere because we didn't know you guys existed. And who told us about Bradshaw?
Probably a recommendation from the previous school. They were at Grace Christian down in Orange County, so probably something like that.
That sounds likely. Mm-hmm.
So you come here, you do the tour. I mean, but again, it's like a job interview. You have to be really crazy to show out. So what we saw, we thought we liked it. Her first year, we didn't have any issues. My son was even at the preschool there, but it wasn't until this incident that everything just kind of.
And more so intrigued by the Christian hashtag. I mean, I must say that, you see Christian on the school, so you figure this thing's going to be Christ-like. So clearly,
and when you say Christ-like, just real quickly for the people in the back, what did you expect from the environment?
A good Christian environment where people
describe that to me.
Where everyone is at least given a fair shake, treated fairly, not partial or impartial to both reward or punishment. So, yeah.
What do you think, Mama?
For me, I feel like now that we're here looking back, what struck me the most is we're having to discuss racial issues and concerns with our children. So that's not something that we know we're Black and we're going to have that conversation, but I never would have thought it would be now with a situation like this. I was expecting to have this conversation with my kids, a few years from now, because I've kind of told them I've kind of told them that, hey, because of the color of our skin, people don't like us and mistreat us, but it's never a, hey, this is why this happened to you. So that was kind of disheartening. Yeah.
And so I'm going to bring it back to the panelists. When you guys hear or you think of a Christian school, what type of, descriptive factors do you think come with that? What do you expect from an environment that hashtags itself as Christian?
I think of a non-judgmental environment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think about.
Non-judgmental, Adrian?
I just think of holy, a lot of prayer, following the acts of the Bible.
Okay, following the Bible. Okay, Xavier?
I would say me coming from an area where I know a lot of people who have gone to Christian schools. The expectation now knowing them and what their experiences have been,
Mhm.
it's pretty low.
Okay. But when you think about it, and without knowing the context, right?
Mhm.
When you think about an environment that describes itself as Christian, what type of characteristics do you associate with it?
Like was already said, like Christ-like.
Mhm. But I don't know what Christ.
You don't know what Christ-like means?
Uh-uh.
Okay. For someone who doesn't know what Christ-like means,
Uh-huh.
like we said, patience,
Mhm.
kindness, opportunity,
Mhm.
all things of the positive nature,
Okay.
essentially.
Mariah.
I mean, I was going to answer the same way. I don't really, now the bar's pretty low just because how things go. I went to a Catholic school myself, kindergarten and 8th grade. So I can speak to, I know why my mom put me in a Catholic school, and
Okay.
it was essentially so things like this, which obviously we'll get into, didn't happen to me, right? 'Cause if you put your kid in a private school, you're anticipating that certain things are going to be different than a public school.
So would that be safety?
Yeah.
Okay. Fox, and then Melissa, I'm coming to you, so get ready.
I would have expected a Christian school to be morally challenging.
Explain that.
Going to a Christian school, I would have thought that it would challenge you in things that you do when you
Like shaping your character.
shaping your character
Okay.
as far as your moral output of your views of life,
Mhm.
your views of stealing, your views of race, your views
Right
of
and wrong.
right and wrong
Mhm.
with females, males, the way you speak, the way you hold yourself accountable. I would have thought it would have challenged one to say, hey, no cussing or
Mhm. Melissa.
I would say that it's like built on significant values it's run by and creates kind-hearted people.
So there's this thing that's happened in America. Somehow we've equated Christendom to white supremacy. And we think that we are always right. We think that we are better than other people. Not we, they, because I'm not white, obviously. And I've seen this thing where just because you slap a Christian label on it doesn't mean people embody the characteristics of Christ. And they would have to know who Christ is, right? And not because their daddy or their granddaddy founded the school and their parents sit on the school board. They would have to embody certain characteristics that would make them a safe space that provides grace, mercy, that provides safety, security, that looks beyond skin color and actually gives a damn about the children that they're serving. But for whatever reason, that wasn't the case in this particular case. So, Miss Simone, I want you to tell me about the incident that occurred with your baby, just so folks can know.
Okay, so that day, my daughter, they dismissed. Parents have to pick
Can you
their
tell me
kids up.
what day? You said that day, so can you be specific about the day?
Sorry, I forget. Actually, it was a Monday.
It was
the
a
23rd,
Monday, and it was in
the
October, so
6th?
probably was like the 7th
or the 14th, maybe.
It was the 7th.
You think it was the 7th? Okay, but it was a Monday. From recalling. So again, parents, you pick your kids up from the classroom with the teacher. So the teacher said, "Oh, there was an incident earlier today, but it's on the incident report. Riley has this." Okay, cool, because she just kind of didn't make sense. It was a big deal, and I didn't think it was a big deal because things sometimes happen. So I got it, I read it, and it reads, something to the extent of, kids were on the playground playing. Riley ended up getting hurt. We gave her ice. We monitor her. Kids agree not to play aggressively. So I was like, okay. So I'm driving home, and I said, "Hey, Riley, tell me what happened. And, let's get home, and I want to hear the story." So she proceeds to tell me that she was on the playground with her two friends, Serena and Amani, and they were playing a game, basically like a game of Ring Around the Rosie, where you hold your hands and you spin each other around. And she said this girl, Aaliyah, who's the white girl, the aggressor, she said, Aaliyah, no one was playing with her, and she was sitting there watching them. So one of the girls said, "Oh, you can play with us. We'll show you how to play." So they're showing her how to play. And then Aaliyah goes, "Oh, I know how to play it like this." So then Riley says she gets up, she jumps, grabs me by the neck, throws me to the ground, and then she steps on me. And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah." She said, I was like, "So what did you do?" And I'm like, she's like, "Oh, I went to tell the teacher, and my friends helped me up." So that way, because I think she said she was like, no, that's with the other girlfriend, but she was saying like, getting choked, she had a hard time, like, probably figuring out like what the heck just happened to me. So so now I'm looking at the story she's telling me versus the story that's written, and I'm like, okay, these are two different things. I wait till dad comes home and I'm like, hey, read this, dad. And I didn't say anything else. So he reads and he's like, okay, what's the big deal? Riley, tell your dad what you just told me. So then she proceeds to tell him the same story. And at this point, we're highly pissed because we're like, y'all just wrote up something that looked really good, but this is not what my baby's telling me. And she ain't one to lie. So I immediately wrote an email to the teacher, the principal. Well, I didn't have the principal's information, so I sent it to the secretary because I knew she could get it to the principal, requesting in a meeting, telling her that I need to make sure there's an accurate reflection of what's happening because my daughter is reporting something totally different than what's reported on this incident report that they sent home to me. And they didn't even notify me that, hey, your daughter's here getting ice. Do you want to come check on her? Normally when there's an incident, they call the parents, your daughter's in the office. This is what happened. They didn't even do that. So, so that was that.
Okay, hold on real quick. Pause.
All right, okay.
Pause. Y'all just heard mom.
Right.
The baby was injured. The story they told her was not what the child is reporting. What is the first thing that comes to mind, Xavier?
Can I think about mine?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mariah.
So I didn't know those first few parts. I didn't know she went to the classroom to pick him up. So the first thing I'm thinking about is you went to the classroom, looked at this teacher in the eyes, and they didn't say that one of my classmates put her arms around your daughter's neck today and let you go home.
Keela.
Why wasn't I informed my child got ice? Like
ice for what?
Well, just
ice. They give ice.
They give
out,
them ice packs out like candy.
But yeah, even like
ice for what?
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, because I feel like the first thing I would do is like, okay, like how come I wasn't notified? All that stuff. But as she's saying, it seemed mid.
Yeah.
From what it looked like, but it's not. So
Adrian.
Yeah, it just looked like they knew if they told the whole story right then and there, it would be escalated. So they tried to give a watered down version to the parents and hoping they wouldn't dig deeper into it. And, unfortunately they did, or luckily they did. So yeah.
Melissa, are you like your mom over here fuming? I'm looking at mama.
Yeah, because in my head, I'm like, what if it would have been worse? What if she would have been seriously injured and at school that day? She would have fallen, hit her head, got a concussion or something like that. And they give her an ice pack. They're covering it up and they don't tell the parents what actually happened. It could have been so much worse because they decided to water it down and sugarcoat it. I am fuming, just like my mother.
To add on too, aren't they supposed to with the incident reports, aren't they supposed to put the parents' explanation, like their response, and like if there was witnesses and everything? Clearly she didn't get
to that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say clearly she didn't get none of that from what I'm. So that's my next question.
Time out.
Okay,
put a pin in that.
Yes, ma'am.
Fox, your reaction.
Somebody stepped on my child.
That's where you stopped.
Like, stepped on my child, and I came in here and didn't nobody say nothing about that. I mean, I have a big problem with. It's one thing to put your hands on me. It's another thing when somebody puts their feet on them. It's a different level of
disrespect, like spit.
It's a far different level of it. And you telling me somebody stepped on my child and you didn't say nothing, which makes I have to re-question you aggressively because you playing too. Like it's
Okay, so Mama, keep going. Keela brought up the incident report. Tell us about this.
Okay, so yeah, the story gets crazier. So we emailed the teacher and the secretary, and the teacher emailed back the next day. She wasn't on the playground, but she'll get this information, my email, to the principal requesting a meeting, and the secretary, same thing. So the principal responds back, oh yes, I agree. We definitely need to sit down and meet. My intent is always to get to the bottom of things when something like this happens. So, that was even like an issue because we're like, hey, did this time work for you? And she asked us and we responded, and then we never heard anything. So we're like, okay, so I guess we're not having the meeting. And then the next day, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to hit send. This email was in my draft folder. So, we're like, and I was like, you know what? Things happen. We're available today. So we set up a meeting Thursday at 9:30 with the principal. We arrived there. She can't shake her hands because her hands are wet. She's holding a cup of coffee.
Well, first we arrived on time. I
want
to make sure.
Talk about that punctuality, Dad. Yep.
Yeah, we were there on time.
We were early. We were early to the meeting, and it was exactly 9:28 when she Haig. I want to put her in a cage. Anyway, Haig comes out, and she's holding her coffee, and she makes the statements. And me, I'm again 21 years in the Army, so I stand up like I'm I don't know if told, trained, grandfather, whatever, and I extend my hand, and she says to me,
my hands are wet.
I can't shake your hand. My hands are wet.
But she's holding a cup of coffee. So we were like, okay.
I've had wet hands in meetings in the past, and I would do this little tap thing on my shirt or whatever and say, hey, my hands are wet. Don't think I'm whatever or whatever. Hey, I'll make a joke about it and shake that person's hand and move on with the conversation, meeting, whatever we got going on. So anyway.
So that we get into her office, and classic case. Oh, you guys go ahead and start. What's going on? I'm like, no. It's more appropriate for you to start, and you tell us what's going on with our child with this incident report that was sent home to us. And we brought the incident report. And so,
but first we opened up in prayer.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, because that's important. Because somebody might have flipped over some tables had there not been prayer.
Right.
Amen.
That was also just a show. That's why.
Wait, who prayed?
So she did.
Oh, I don't let demons pray over me. No.
And then one of the past, like we requested a meeting with the principal to tell us what happened with our daughter.
Yeah.
Who we send to this Christian school that we also, let's not mention, we pay for. And you want, go ahead and start. Tell me you want me to start this meeting that we requested with you. So yeah, Simone did a good job in saying, oh, no. You start. So sorry. So
no, you're fine. So we're in the meeting, and she's telling us her version of what happened. And she's like, yeah, I was, Riley came to the office with an incident report, and a staff member called me and said, hey, you might want to take a look at this. So I was like, hey, let's stop here. Where is that incident report? Oh, I threw that one away. Wait, you threw the incident report away? Yeah. I threw that one away because I was going to get all of the information and fill it out. So I'm like, well,
and generate a better one.
Yeah. So I was like, but this says like responding staff up top. I said, you shouldn't be writing up here because you were not on the playground. You don't know what was reported. So how can you even write at the top part of this form at all? Oh, I was going to get all the information. I said, well, let's talk about that too, because my daughter told you she was playing with two of her friends. You did not talk to them. Right. Why did you not talk to the key witnesses to say, hey, girls, what happened? What went on with Riley and Aaliyah on the playground? I said, you took this white girl's side of the story and basically told my daughter, oh, what you're saying, you just need to get over it. That's not what really happened. You guys go back. And they're in the same class together too. So you guys go back to class together. So yeah, so she deleted. So she admitted to throwing away the incident report because she was going to get all the information, but then she didn't get all the information. And then she tells us, she pulls this card. I'm not perfect. And you know what? I should have done some things differently. And that's why I need parents' help. I need you guys' help. And I said, no, we don't work here. If you don't know how to do a basic investigation, you have other staff around here that you should be able to contact and say, hey, look at this. Help me out. Am I doing things right? Don't say you need parents to tell you how to do your job when it comes to investigating and gathering information one-on-one. So that really made us upset in the meeting.
Okay, pause. I want you to take a breath. All right. So y'all heard that.
Yeah.
Right? You ready, Xavier?
So I'm going to go back to
give me something. Yeah.
My immediate thought before was this has to be some type of repeated behavior that's being done at home or somewhere else. But either way, it's not okay, and it's being translated to school with other innocent children,
which
which is wrong no matter what.
She's discarded the initial incident report, Melissa.
I'm still on her saying that she forgot to hit send on the email.
Right.
Like,
no, for real.
That is the same like excuse I would give in middle school or high school when I didn't do my homework. Oh, I did it. I just left it at home. I did not do that homework. You did not write that email. You did not forget to send that email. That's the thing that stopped me in my tracks when you were talking. What do you mean you forgot to hit send on the email? That was intentional. That was intentional.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's your job to send those. I mean, make sure you hit send on those type of emails.
If you wanted to send it, yeah. Mariah, they're discarding incident reports. What say you?
What's the question you're asking?
What they discarded the incident report? What are you thinking?
So yeah, I think what intentional or not. I mean, so we're talking about blessed bias. Had it been a white kid, would that email have been drafted and sent? Yeah.
Or would the student been held accountable? Let's be clear.
Right.
If the roles were reversed.
I was gonna say if the roles were reversed, all of the information would have been gathered. It would have been probably a whole scene. Maybe even ended up on the news.
No. Come on, talk about it, Adrian.
Yeah, discarded the incident report. It looks like they realized their mistake and they got caught up. So they tried to fix it by preying on what they thought were uneducated parents and thought they'll just accept that. But okay, give me a new one as soon as you can. So no, we took it farther, and I'm glad I hope we can hold them accountable in some way.
Keela in the B.
Is that not illegal?
Should be.
Yeah, I think that's crazy because especially if you ask for an incident report and you don't have it, that's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So you could have sued right then and there, but okay, you can continue your story because what?
I mean, I love when people feign ignorance. All of a sudden, don't nobody know nothing.
Nothing.
What's up? What you about to say?
In this case, didn't nobody feign nothing. There was a report. Somebody did know something, and you took it upon yourself to delete and omit that evidence. And for you to do such a thing, it's such a level of dishonesty. It's like there's nothing to believe.
But we're Christians.
No Christian, nothing. You pray and make that report come back up. But
no, and when I say they feign ignorance, like she didn't know that discarding an incident report was a violation.
Literally.
How can you not as an adult?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing, sir.
No, you can't.
Absolutely.
You can't even read a text message in this day and age because you need that information for what you're going through.
That's right.
I just feel like what were you getting from that? Like you forgot to hit send. Okay, whatever. Then you don't got an incident report. Oh, you don't know who these people are at the end of the day.
But power, remember we were talking about that? Like her, when Simone was explaining to us how just the way the principal said it, I threw it away. Like she was almost happy about it because she knew she couldn't be challenged.
How you gonna talk me through your wrong at that too?
Huh?
I also have
something wrong and you talk me, you want to talk me through what you did wrong.
Yeah. In this day and age of 2024, why are we only using physical evidence as evidence so that we can accidentally lose, quote unquote, or throw away? Everything should be in data and writing on the computer.
Well, I mean, it should be, and it probably is because they had to create it on something.
Exactly.
I'm just curious as to where it's at.
Stories didn't match, so you got caught up. Delete. That's what they did.
You had to really delete that paper to do that.
It's not deleted. They probably have it
somewhere.
Yeah.
Normally, if you just throwing something away, you just rip it in half. You had to really
But that's another question too. Did it get thrown away? Did you write it out physically? Did you not report that incident report to the system? Where was the protocol?
So did they finish the new incident report?
You know what? That would have been a great question to ask the IT guy.
Yeah, IT guy who sat down and talked about what a Christian man he was too.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah. So, okay.
Sorry,
Mama.
Well, continue. I need to hear the rest.
Because I'm confused because it has to be digitally somewhere. And if somebody went into a system and overrode a report, the original would be somewhere in there, and the IT guy could find it. That's a great question. I think we should write him an email and say we want to know about the timestamps on these documents.
But you got to make sure you got to tell them, God told me to ask you.
And I prayed on it.
I prayed on it. And he told me, we're going to need that paperwork, brother.
All right. So you guys had this meeting. They tell you that they discarded this original report. So what are you thinking as parents at this point? What are we doing? What are we thinking?
So I forget the case. It was in New York, and these police, and it happens all over the nation. These police, it's a historic case where the police basically needed to blame someone for the murder of a white woman in the park.
Oh, you talking about Central Park 5?
Central Park. Okay, Park 5, yeah. So, unfortunately for me, I'm thinking something like how, and I know my daughter, and she talks. Jesus Christ, she talks, right? So, I'm confident when asked the question about what happened, Riley gave not the play-by-play, but the second-by-second story of what transpired. And I'm just thinking about how many times my daughter was asked and told what was happened when she gave her truth. And then, oh, are you sure it wasn't this? No, it was this. Are you sure it wasn't this? No, it was this. Are you sure it wasn't this? No, it was this. Are you sure it wasn't this?
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. We were playing. It was that.
Yeah.
Because it was so many times repeated. I'm confident. I know my child. And that's what transpired there. So that's my piece of the new report. And yeah, so anywho.
Yeah, so we're in this.
So before you move on, Mama, Daddy, I said the principal tells you all that she discarded this stuff, right? This incident report. What then are you all thinking as the parents of this baby girl that you know, and that you know will not make up a lie to suit or to, have you guys thinking something? What are you all thinking as parents who are looking at something that you know in your gut to not be true? And your baby is telling you something.
My first thought is, who is this girl and who does she know, her parents or something? Because why is the principal of this elementary school covering up something for that particular child?
I think we are aligned in that ideology, sir. And Mama, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were going to say something?
No, you're just saying like what were you thinking in that moment? And I'm a lot of emotions. You're like, wait, because I was telling my husband, she got to be real stupid or feel so high up to admit, like, oh yeah, I tossed that one. That one wasn't good enough. Like to me, I would, oh, you know what, that is the original, or oh, you know what, I'm not sure what happened. I spilled my coffee on it. Make up something, but to look us in the face and say the original document that told what happened. Now, my daughter, she said it had the word choke on it. And I said, well, how do you know that? She said, because I was reading it. She knows it. So she's like, because I was reading it on the way to the office when me and Amani was walking. And I said, well, how do you spell that word? So she spelled it to me too. So because I'm always testing her to make sure that she's saying what is true as well. Just as a parent does. So this is what my daughter is saying. So I feel like the responding staff member wrote down exactly what my daughter told her. It got to the front office and they said, ooh, principal, you might want to come here. Because I'm like, why did you get involved? You're the principal. If this was child's play, how did it get to a level where you had to bring them in? So I believe that's what was written on the paper. The principal looked at it and said, oh no, we can't have this documented here. We got to say, oh, her hands ended up around her neck. And I even asked the principal, how do hands end up around a neck?
Hello.
So yeah, at the moment when she admitted to throwing away evidence, and I used to, be a surveyor. That's no, you don't ever get rid of evidence. Like, you attach more papers to it, you file it away, but like throwing away documentation, that's a big no. So to me, I knew like this is a cover up. So we knew right away what was going on.
And unfortunately, we can't express, verbally the body language and cues that was given off by Mrs. Haig at the time, especially when she made that statement. Oh, I threw it away. It was something to see and to be present You know, if you were there, it's like if you know, like you really you had the audacity to say those, like, yeah, I got rid of the evidence.
What you gonna do about it?
In my face. Yeah, I got rid of that evidence, and I brought it that I thought was best for this case. So
yeah. If you're just joining us, you're tuned into Black versus the Board of Education. We are talking about blessed bias with the Ridley family. And, you know, just a quick recap, 8-year-old daughter was choked on the playground and stepped on by a white playmate, or I don't even know if it's a playmate. Let's call it a classmate.
Yeah.
And the principal has gone to great lengths to destroy evidence, cover up, and we're trying to figure out who this baby is related to, this white child. And when we're talking about sending our kids to private school and into these so-called Christian environments, there is a standard that we expect them to uphold. I I thought it was very comical when we showed up that we were not greeted by any administrators. We were greeted by the IT guy. And I thought I was trying to figure out in my head, who else might this be instead of IT? Because I know you're not talking about somebody who does computers, and we're talking about administrative things that happen on the campus. And that's exactly who it was, an IT guy. That's who they had meet with us. And it became very apparent that they just wanted this to go away. They wanted to refund money and, you know, say, oh, I'm so sorry we got here. No, where are we? Let's talk about where we are. And it was this kind of matter of fact type of thing that went on in that room, where he said, yes, she did admit to destroying the incident report. Yes, we have instituted new training now to where, you know, she knows that that's not acceptable.
She knows that ain't acceptable.
I'm sorry?
When they instituted the new training?
Probably when we asked to meet with them. Probably when we asked to meet with them.
Instituting new training for the principal. It's crazy.
I mean, but there's some things they're supposed to already know, right? And I asked him, because you guys know on school campuses, the people that are responsible for discipline are the vice principals. So my question was, where was the vice principal? Apparently the vice principal was out that day.
They're short-staffed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were short-staffed.
Yeah.
Vice principal get the same training too?
Short incident reports too.
Y'all are messy.
Out which day exactly?
Huh?
Out which day exactly? Because it happened Monday and they didn't have a meeting till Thursday.
I don't know which day. I'm assuming this particular day that this alleged incident, I will say alleged right there. Well, no, we don't have to, because they admitted. So the day this incident was happening, I'm assuming that's what the IT guy meant. When
so he was filling in because they're short staff.
No, he was filling. He's the one that they decided. The board chose to come and have this meeting with us. Yeah. And so I'm like, no, we wanted to meet with the principal. He said, oh, you wanted to meet with the principal? I'm like, isn't that what my original email said, that we wanted to meet with the administrators? And I said, matter of fact, you can send the people on the board. Now, I understand that this is maybe a case of nepotism, because the board is comprised of her parents. Her grandfather actually founded this school, the current principal. So they have an invested interest to make sure she walks away with clean hands. The other thing that I want to note, they had already talked to legal. Now, 9 times out of 10, you don't talk to legal unless your hands are dirty, especially if you're dealing with an advocate and not an attorney. If I was an attorney, they would meet me with their attorney. But because I'm just an advocate, there was no reason to do that unless you know that what you did was a complete cover up and you are now subject to a lawsuit. Let's keep it a buck. So, Mom, the meeting, and I know that tempers were kind of getting, I could tell that there was some irritation at the meeting with the IT guy. I don't even remember his name. I don't even think it matters. But it was not on the campus where this incident occurred. It was next door, is my understanding. And it was not with any administrators from next door. It was with an IT guy, wherever he works, whichever campus, or maybe he works all of the campuses. I don't know. But the tempers you guys seem to be quite agitated. Can you talk to us about, kind of what you were feeling in that moment?
At the meeting with the IT guy?
Yeah.
So you guys have been great. You're advocating for us. Hey, we want to have a meeting with the school. He's responding back that, yeah, we can have a meeting, and here's what's going to be. So I was kind of confused at why we were meeting at the preschool when both our kids and my daughter, who this happened to, is at the elementary school. Like, y'all don't have any offices there where we can meet. So that was kind of like, well, maybe let's just see what happens. But then, he's the only one there. And honestly, just to keep it real short, it felt like it was a meeting of, hey, we're sorry. Really not sorry. We've done this before. Here's a little check because you kind of overpaid. And let's just you good, we good, can we just like move along. And the crazy part about this too is when we decided like it's not safe for our kids to be here, we can't trust y'all, we told them, like, I sent them a very long email, like 3 pages of exactly why we were removing our kids from the school, to the principal, to the secretary, to my son's teacher, and also to my daughter's teacher. 3-page email. The principal didn't even respond back. The secretary responded back, because you have decided to remove your kids, please sign this release of contract. And on that paper said that we owe them 2 weeks tuition and $150 per kid. So in this meeting with the IT man, he says, oh, the board met and we decided to waive those fees. Like he's doing us a favor. Like, dude, you was never going to see that money anyways. Like, you're not going to mistreat
the presentation,
us.
The presentation.
It was the presentation
of hey, here, okay, you owe us some money,
but
we're gonna write.
We're gonna do the Christian thing.
There you go.
We want to do the right thing.
And the silence he had thereafter was like yeah, we've done something grandiose. What says you, Negro family?
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
Yeah,
I want to say something else, but y'all know but that's how I felt.
Yeah,
as you now. You give them some money, or you give them a refund, and they're gonna be okay. Hey, it's private school. I'm not a rich man yet, but
talk to them.
Hey, I pay that anyway. That's money that I want to go out, right, for my kids to get this experience and education, etc. Not that experience.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
I thought this should be also shared amongst other Black parents.
Presentation of like
in the school.
You're gonna have to
and so what they decided to do was give you all we waived that, and this and this and that, and so here's a check for 2,000 or whatever it was, right?
We didn't catch
Are you kidding me?
Whatever amount of money.
It was insulting, right? It was just insulting.
Very kind of like, here's your money, have a nice day. We don't have anything else to talk about. And the fact that they didn't bring anyone who could even speak to it, because he's like, well, I just learned about this. I'm just representing the board. It's like, well, why wouldn't someone be here that could speak to what has happened to my child versus sending you as a little messenger boy with a signed check, So very insulting to say the least.
Yeah. And Xavier, you were saying something.
No, I was saying that this should be shared amongst all of the parents that kids attend the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And all around the district, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. And that's why we're starting today. We're just going to notify everybody that, these things are happening, because when we pay for our children to be in specific environments, we expect a certain amount of respect as well. My kids ain't coming here for free. I'm investing in you and in this structure, and I expect my kids to be safe and to be taken care of. As a matter of fact, as a Christian, I would expect you to treat my children like you would treat your children.
Exactly.
That's what I would expect.
That's what's Christ.
The other thing about it, the other thing that kind of was interesting, he kept saying, you guys are you're my brother, and and I just, I'm a dad too. But how would you handle it if it was your child, right? And it was just this, I don't know. The only way I can explain it is white people in.
This is my brother.
That's what the IT guy said to Dad.
My brother.
Yeah, that you're my brother, and I'm really sorry we're where we are. Where are we exactly, and why?
How are we brothers though? Brothers watch over each other's children.
Exactly.
Brothers watch over each other's community, watch over each other's household.
Brothers empathize with the situation and are in arms. Like, he should be just as mad as.
Yeah, and I think I saw Dad's mouth moving, and I don't want to cut you off. Were you saying something, sir?
I just said brother's keeper. Like,
yeah.
We ain't brothers.
Let's be very, very clear. Culturally, we are different, right? There is a certain relational aspect that Black people have. When we talk about somebody as our brother, people probably think we really related, or we say my cousin so-and-so or my sis over here, they probably think we're really related because we use those terms interchangeably. When we go into other environments with other cultures, they don't understand just how much emphasis we put on the relational aspect of the things that we do and how we carry ourselves within family and within community. So I was watching him, and this is boilerplate language. This is what they say to absolve themselves of any responsibility to treat people as human beings, period. That's what happens. The other thing that I thought was interesting, Mariah, is actually, I don't want to go there yet. Mama, tell me about the other incident that happened on the playground, then I'll make my comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this, I was kind of like, I'm glad it happened because it lays everything out. So, that incident happened on Monday with, my daughter being attacked on the playground. So, we're at home like, girlfriend, somebody put their hands on you. That's the invitation. Like, that's your invitation to whoop on them. Like, my daughter is so sweet. Like, she's just a super sweetheart. So
defend yourself.
Defend yourself.
No, we understood, Mama. Go ahead. You don't have to clarify.
Right. Like, we're just telling her, like, look here, child. And I'm explaining to her, like, when you don't defend yourself, you're basically letting people know that's okay to treat you that way. And you don't ever want that. So that happened on Monday, we're talking to her girlfriend, So on Wednesday, she's on the playground with, the kids, and they were getting ready to come in. This is a separate student, another Black girl that happened to fall into her, was a story that was told to me. She kind of fell into my daughter. So my daughter tells her, hey, do that again, I'm going to punch you in the face.
It was swinging the bag.
No, it wasn't swinging the bag. Okay. This was at lunchtime. It wasn't a book bag. The teacher reports me again. So I picking my child up, and the teacher likes to have these little meetings, which is kind of inappropriate while parents are picking up their kids, which it shouldn't be that way. Like, it should be a more personal time set aside to discuss those things. But anyway, she said, a kid on the playground kind of fell into Riley, and this is what Riley said. She was gonna punch her in the face if she did it again. And I'm just looking at her like, ma'am, you're the same teacher who knew about my daughter getting choked out, and you talking about her verbally expressing herself to another kid. So I'm just like, okay. So she tells me, so, it got back to me because the girl told her teacher, and the teacher told me. So I talked to Riley, and, we just talked about how that's not nice. So again, keep in mind, she told me she talked to Riley, and that Riley understood that, she shouldn't be saying things like that. So I'm just like, okay, all this is going on, and it comes out, Riley ended up telling me that she missed recess and had to write Bible verses. So again, remember, the teacher told me, I talked to her, and, we understood, blah, blah, blah. My daughter is telling me, no, I missed recess, had to write these Bible verses. And I'm like, you missed recess and had to write Bible verses, but the white girl got a stern talking to. And so, so we knew all this information going into the meeting with the principal. We tell the principal this information, and we're like, help us understand this, because I said, if my Black child had choked out a white student, this would be a totally different conversation. Oh, you think so? Like, that was her response. So I'm like, you can't explain this. And she didn't say anything, did she?
I said something physical, nothing happens. Nothing. A verbal
warning
response.
Yeah.
And there's an instant punishment when it's a Black kid. Whenever the Black kid has any infraction, and hey, my kids are 5 years old and 8 years old. They're gonna do some stuff, right? But when there's an infraction done by a white student, they get a stern talking to.
And the next time
but the next time, Johnny,
time is when you're gonna have issues.
But when kids look like me, they get something instantaneously, seemingly. And this is not the recess missing and Bible scriptures. Of course, Simone reached out to a whole bunch of other parents that looked like us, and hey, what's been your experiences? And yes, similar things. Hey, well, yeah, she missed recess. She did this. She had to write Bible verses, et cetera, et cetera. But again, when a white student does it at this particular school, they get stern talking to, and the Black kids
get opportunity, correct?
And my
thing was, y'all all
Redirect
like the
is what they
teacher,
use.
the teacher knew like that, and so I even was like, we basically were trying to like help this principal help herself. I said, so let me understand. So Aaliyah was able to choke out my daughter. Did she miss recess? No. Did she get suspended?
Is she suspended, expelled?
No. So you're telling me nothing happened to her, but my child, yes, that's what happened. Okay, just making sure I understand. And I'm like, even for the teacher too, like that kind of pissed me off because I'm like, you didn't think, wow, Riley might still be having some PTSD from getting choked out 2 days before. Like she's standing up for herself, and maybe she shouldn't have said punch you in the face. But hey, at this point,
she said what she
gonna
said.
say what she
said. What she said.
Yeah.
You got to say what you got to say, so people know you mean business. Because again, she got choked out 2 days prior. This all happened in the same week. So had that not happened, maybe you could give a better defense for the school. But I'm like, you guys have no defense at all.
All right, put a pin in that. Melissa was sitting with her mouth wide open, so I'm gonna throw it to her first. Then I'm gonna come in studio. Melissa.
They said everything I was gonna say. You see how the teacher went directly to the parents of the Black student when the story could be turned around and a white student was the victim?
I don't even think was it a white student that was the victim, or is just your daughter?
The other girl was Black, so Black on Black, you gotta say something.
Y'all are right.
Yeah,
the other Black girl.
So it was Black on Black for the second incident. What my daughter gave verbal, it was a verbal warning. Like she didn't put her hands on her. She just said, "Do that again, I'm gonna punch you in the face." Mess around and find out.
She's defending herself. There's absolutely no problem with her standing up for herself and defending herself because that teaches her basic common sense and will teach other students who are trying to put their hands on her or anyone else. I can't do that. Because that's not the way the world works. Wait until you're not in elementary school anymore. You get to high school, you try to put your hands on somebody. You're not going to get a warning. You don't get a warning. You're just going to end up on the floor. Yeah, that's crazy.
So again, as I'm sitting here and I'm looking, because I think our original email, I asked them to share with me the Bible verses they wanted this baby to copy down. And so Mr. IT guy decided to hand me the Bible verses that the baby was told to copy down. Luke 6:35 talks about loving your enemies. What? And then the second one was 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. You guys know that's the scripture that talks about love. How love is patient, love is kind. It is not self-seeking. It does not, all those things.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what we are talking to this baby about, because generally those scriptures are not used. One for elementary school kids to discipline them, right? But I'm confused because this child didn't do anything but say something verbally. And when we talk about loving our enemies, who is my enemy, right? And what message are we sending when we ascribe those tasks to this child who was injured and not the person who perpetrated harm on her in the first place? So I told him, I said, these Bible verses are egregious. This is egregious. Yeah. Like, why would you assign these type of things to a child? Yeah.
I'm still stuck that you guys are speaking through the grapevine, through the IT man.
Yeah, through the IT man. Because he knows everything, because he probably was reading everybody's emails.
Yeah.
Because he has that capability.
But you guys weren't good enough to speak directly to the principal.
Right.
So that would have been a problem in itself.
Right.
I think it's crazy that the teacher disrespected mom, for one. Like, she don't talk to her child, especially what happened 2 days prior. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do what they can do, right? And that's when normally we get to come into the room and kind of right some wrongs. So, when people start talking to me about the Bible, first of all, I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up Church of God in Christ, and they were Bible believing. Don't wear pants, don't wear makeup, don't play sports. Like, it was super, super strict. And when I hear people one, misuse and misquote scripture, or they pick and choose which scriptures they want to ascribe to a situation. So I also reminded him that the Bible talks about if I have an ought with my brother, that I'm supposed to take it to them. My brother's not here. Where's my brother? Right? Meaning if I have a problem with somebody, as a Christian, it is my duty to take this issue to them. They did not give these parents that opportunity to do that. Right. Yeah. And I could come up with a whole bunch of other scriptures that, as soon as I left, I remembered some more. But I don't like when people hide behind the Bible and do the wrong thing. Right. The Bible talks about it is better for someone to tie a millstone around their neck than to offend the littlest of these, meaning children. And so as I'm looking at adults who have intentionally inflicted harm and done their best to cover it up and not ask for forgiveness and not deal with grace and mercy and kindness and all those good things, when I see that type of stuff, I start to look at them like they're crazy, because what is it that we're really talking about, and what is it that we're really doing, and what are we expecting people that we're paying to make sure our children are okay? What is our responsibility as parents, as community members, to expect from these environments? The least they could have done was refund your money before we asked for it. Matter of fact, they could have not charged you in the first place. You know what I mean? If we're going to be clear, right? And so, we're running out of time, but I want to give you guys, I like to go around and give you guys 30 seconds to tell me, kind of what do you think we should do next? What should be the next thing? Or yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Mariah, what should we be doing next to support this family?
Continue putting pressure. So I think our takeaway from that meeting was to get that request to the board to meet with the principal and the responding teacher to the incident. And the IT guy said he was going to go request that. So yeah, do that.
Keela.
Takeaway is I'm glad we met you guys through this crazy situation, but we locked in now. So we're going to give you guys the resources and be there for you. So that's it.
Melissa.
Yeah, I think just making sure that you guys are there for the family and making sure that the school knows that they're not going to be able to get away with this for one student, and it cannot happen again with any other students on that campus.
Adrian.
Yeah, kind of what Keila said, offering a safe space and support for the family. Offering our own recommendations for schools if we were ever come back to Sacramento. Us next time.
So a recommendation list from us,
from BYLP, not from whoever else.
That'd be a hard one to get, because let me stop. Let me stop. Xavier.
I would say definitely before even having this meeting, we gather all of the evidence, including all the meetings that were had, IT people and whoever else you spoke with. And ultimately, I would move past.
Come to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would move past the principal situation. Even if it is still a possibility, I move past the principal and try and talk to the school board, or just move to their higher ups, because if they're not willing to directly, speak, or they're trying to avoid you guys at all costs, it seems like. Sending messengers. I'm still not over that. That's crazy.
I don't think they can avoid me, but right on. And I understand what you're saying in terms of trying to escalate it to the school board. My only thing is, I think that there's a bias there, because those are her parents. Her parents sit on the school board, the principal's parents.
Right.
So I'm not sure how much of a fair shake would we be able to get. But I totally believe in escalating situations.
With that information, I feel like then it should be not necessarily gone to the board, but now we should be using the community.
I wonder who authorizes these schools to pop up. They have to be governed by someone. The only other thing that I want to make mention of, normally when schools take away recess, that is against the law, but that law does not apply to private schools, which is what I found when I was researching it. But we know that recesses are a place where kids, develop their social skills. They also get to kind of decompress from sitting that whole time. And so taking it away is actually injustice to the child in their development. And this is the only thing that people want to take away, because they want to be very punitive to certain students while exercising grace for others. Mom and Dad, I want to give you 30 seconds too. Just give us your final takeaways, what you want to see moving forward, and how we can support.
Go.
Let me go. So for sure, we want to make sure that this doesn't happen to any other Black families that come to the school. For sure. I mean, like I want people to know, like, hey, we're telling our story, so that way you know. And if you should decide to do what you want to do, like, that's on you. But this is our story that we've been able to gather. And also, I would like to even talk to other families that we talked about a little bit before that have had some type of issue with the school, because what I'm in fear is happening is they just sweep all these underneath the rug, every individual case. And if we don't come together as a whole and say, wait a minute, all these stories, and now we're seeing a trend, because, you know, otherwise it's just in passing and we move on, everybody moves on. But it's like, no, like, they need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be able to sweep anything under the rug. I think that's what the goal is.
Oh, it's always
using all these manipulation
they protect the
tactics.
institution, right? And they do keep families isolated. They don't want you all talking. That's why there's not a whole lot of things that happen on campus where it's just like an affinity space for Black parents to come together, because too many of y'all in the room, they think y'all plotting to overthrow them. And that's been what has been throughout history. More than two of y'all in the room, familiar. y'all is plotting. So they keep us as separate as possible. But we want to make sure that we open up a space here. If there are parents at Bradshaw Christian and you want to get in touch with the Ridley family, or you want to organize a meetup, we will offer our offices up for such a meetup. All you have to do is call 916-513-7959, and we can coordinate that for the families over at Bradshaw Christian, and we can just create a safety net for families like yours, because this is not an isolated incident, not in this area. Elk Grove is number 1 in the state for disproportionate discipline of Black children. And so we're here for a reason. And there's a reason why you didn't know about us, because if they told too many of y'all that we was here, y'all might actually stand up and do something about it. But with that, you all, we have run out of time. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank the Ridley family for joining us. Xavier, welcome to the team. We look forward to getting some good work done. With that, I'm gonna hit y'all with the peace sign. We'll see you next week right here, Facebook and YouTube. We are Black versus the Board of Education.